Good morning, children. It's good to see you again. I have completed 3 parts of statistics, or you can say after completing 6th chapter, now we are moving towards the 7th chapter. Earlier you have done or you have studied about the methods of collection of data, the methods of organization of data, and the methods of presentation of data with the help of diagrams or graphs. Now next step is the methods of condensation of data. Condensation of data means whatever data you have collected, after presenting the data in the form of diagrams or graphs, you have to analyze the data in the condensed form. Condensed form means making it in a compact form so that analysis becomes easier. And for that we have to measure the central value of the data. As you know, the data what you collect, that is a mass data that has a long description, and this long description itself will not give you any analysis until and unless you make it compact or you condense it. And how this condensation is done? This is done with the help of finding out the averages, or you can say we can do this with the help of finding out the central value or measure of central tendency of the whole data. Now I will tell you how to find out this. Now this is the 7th chapter according to your syllabus. This is arithmetic mean. This is a measure of central tendency. Arithmetic mean is considered a measure of central tendency. Now what do you mean by central tendency? This is a tendency towards centralization or concentration somewhere in the center of frequency distribution. Now whatever frequency distribution you show with the help of data, the central value of that frequency distribution, that will be known as central tendency. The central value which will depict the whole data, this will known as central tendency. So what is central tendency? It is a tendency towards centralization or concentration somewhere in the center of frequency distribution. So this is the meaning of central tendency. This will be more clear when we will be taking example of it. Second characteristic is measures of central tendency are measures of averages. Now whatever are the measures of central tendency, these are considered as measures of averages in the form of mean, median, mode, etc. So central tendency is the central value around which the whole data revolves. This is the center, or this is the measure of averages. Now the objective of every statistical analysis is to get one single value, that describes the characteristics of the whole data. So what is the objective of statistical analysis? The objective is to find out single value out of the total data, one single value which has the characteristics of the whole data. So the main objective of statistical analysis is find out such a value which will represent the whole data, right? So this is the central value or the single value representing the whole data is called an average. Clear? Now you must have heard the term average in your everyday life. For example, you must have seen people talking about average rainfall, average wages of workers, or you can say average temperature of a particular month, or average cost of production. Like this, many terms are used which use the word average. Now, have you ever thought what does this average actually mean? Average is the central value or the value which represents the whole data. For example, if we say that in a factory there are 10 workers and the wages of 10 workers are different, but we say that on average monthly wages of 10 workers are 500. What does this mean? This means that on an average it is 500, but everybody is not getting equal to 500. 500 is the central value. Some may be getting more than this and some may be getting less than this. So, average is the central value. Similarly, in your class, suppose there are 40 students and you appear in the exam, and in a test you get different marks. All 40 students will get different marks. After the analysis, if the teacher says that the average marks are 50 or 60, whatever, what does this show? This shows that on an average children are getting 60 marks, but this does not mean that every child is getting 60. Some are getting more than 60 and some are getting less than 60. But on an average, 60 is the average mark. So, this means that average is the central value around which all the values, or you can say around which the whole data revolves, right. So, this is the general meaning of central value or average.